Good Tuesday afternoon. This is Daniel Crawley, Foothills Action Network. Hope you're having a great day across the Western Carolinas. I am here at the house monitoring the next potential weather system for our region that looks to impact the area over the next 24 to 48 hours. And once again, we are getting a late season hookup with the tropics as Tropical Storm Zeta is now located in the southern Gulf of Mexico. Zeta was a hurricane late yesterday and made landfall along the Yucatan and moved across during the overnight hours and exited off the Yucatan coast early this afternoon. It did weaken down to a tropical storm, but the conditions look favorable for Zeta to reorganize and become a hurricane once again, probably tonight and into the day on Wednesday. And then on Wednesday, it will start making its trek toward the Gulf Coast region. And then after that, the impacts will move into the southeast U.S., including our area here in the Western Carolinas. So this is a visible satellite image of Zeta. I'm going to put the water vapor on right quick, and you can see what's going on. I'm going to kind of draw the players here on the table that's going to influence our forecast. First off, we have Zeta here. We have an area of high pressure off the east coast of Florida with the mid-level flow going that way. And then we have this upper low over the Four Corners region that will be ejecting off to the north and east. So essentially Zeta only has one way to go, northwest, and then an eventual curve to the northeast into the southeast part of the U.S. So the forecast confidence in the track is pretty high at this time as far as where Zeta is going to go. We don't expect any big change. Okay, let's look at the forecast track from the National Hurricane Center. This is the 2 o'clock advisory this afternoon. And you can see Zeta is located at 22.1 north, 90.1 west. It is just off the coast of the Yucatan of Mexico, the Yucatan Peninsula, and is moving off to the northwest at 14 miles per hour. Maximum sustained winds are at 65 miles per hour, but we expect that to increase as we head into tonight, and Zeta should become a hurricane once again. As we head into the forecast track, you can see by 7 a.m. Wednesday, it is still moving off to the north and west. The other thing you probably notice is the gap between forecast points between 7 a.m. and 7 p.m. Wednesday. This storm is going to start accelerating tomorrow, and it's going to probably make a landfall somewhere close to the mouth of the Mississippi River. I would say maybe around sunset Wednesday evening there in southwest Louisiana as a hurricane, as a Category 1 hurricane, and moving off to the north and east. And believe it or not, considering it makes landfall around sunset on Wednesday, as we head into Thursday morning, the remnant low of Zeta will already be across parts of northwest Georgia. And essentially, this track is going to go right up the spine of the Appalachians. And if you've been around here any amount of time, that is the kind of forecast track for a tropical system that can give us some pretty good impacts, both with rain and wind. And I'll kind of go into that here in a few minutes. But Zeta will continue to accelerate on Thursday. We'll move across the Appalachians and up into the mid-Atlantic as we head into Thursday night. Let me show you some model guidance as to what I think may be happening tomorrow. This is off the high-resolution NAM. You can see the precipitation actually starts across a lot of the Gulf Coast region, the Tennessee Valley, as early as tomorrow morning. I would not at all be surprised to see some of this precip begin to fill in across the mountains of western North Carolina and into our foothill counties as early as maybe lunchtime or so. But you can see with the track here on this model run with Zeta, as we head into Wednesday afternoon, this is at approximately 6 o'clock. It is getting ready to make landfall in southeast Louisiana, and will continue to move off to the north and east as we head through Wednesday night. This is Wednesday at midnight. You can see the storm moving into southern Mississippi. Precip, a lot of precip is moving toward the Tennessee Valley and the southern Appalachians. I think this may even be a little bit underdone for parts of our coverage area, especially the foothills. I think some upslope flow will start to kick in by around midnight on Wednesday night, and we'll start to fill in that rain for our foothill counties. Then as we head into early Thursday morning, this is at 8 a.m., the remnant low is somewhere here along the Georgia-Alabama border, and the heaviest of the precip will start moving in at that time. here in western North Carolina. And then as we head through the afternoon, this is at noon, this is at 2 p.m., and this is at 5 p.m. The bulk of the heavy precip should begin to move out, but there will still be some showers and maybe some instability with all the warmth and the tropical moisture that's in place. So that is kind of a look at the timeline of this storm. And let me break down some of the impacts and what I think may happen here in the foothills of Western Piedmont. Okay, let's talk about the local impacts of Zeta here in Western North Carolina. And I will say first thing, this forecast is definitely subject to change as we head into the next 24 hours. A lot of things could change this forecast, but I think right now we have a fairly good feel on what's going to happen with Zeta. As I said earlier, Zeta has emerged into the southern Gulf of Mexico. It will become a hurricane later tonight and begin to move off to the north and northeast as we head into Wednesday. It will eventually make landfall somewhere along the northern Gulf Coast, probably southeast Louisiana. The foothills and the Blue Ridge Escarpment could start to see rainfall partially in association with Zeta and the upper low as early as Wednesday afternoon. Areas further east, probably toward 321 corridor, we're probably looking at a little bit later in the day and into Wednesday night. Now, heading into Thursday, the core of Zeta will move in to the region and will last through the afternoon hours. The morning and afternoon hours of Thursday is the time frame that we'll see the heaviest rain and the strongest potential winds. Flash flooding is going to be possible, especially for our folks on the Blue Ridge Escarpment. The good thing is with the fast movement of Zeta, it should help limit the overall rainfall amounts. But what we see, and I'll get into detail in a minute, could actually occur over a fairly quick time period, let's say 6 to 8 hours. So the kind of rainfall that we see potentially with this storm, if it falls over that time frame, small streams could be impacted. I think the main stem rivers like the Catawba River and the Broad River, they'll rise a little bit, but hopefully the amount of rainfall we're expecting, it shouldn't cause a huge issue. Also with the fast movement of Zeta, it's not going to allow the winds to die down as quick as with normal tropical systems that impact our region. So we're going to have to watch for potential of some wind damage, mainly down trees and some power lines, probably on a scattered nature. Best chances of that will probably be in the higher elevations. Now let's look at the precip amount, and you can see right here, this is a look at the precipitation that we think is going to fall across our coverage area between, say, Wednesday and noon through Thursday p.m. We have a widespread area of 2 to 5 inches of rain in this orange color. That's including all of McDowell, Burke, Caldwell counties, the western part of Alexander, the western part of Catawba, northwest Cleveland, and about the northern 2/3 of Rutherford County. The 2-inch mark, which is our base number, I feel pretty confident for pretty much everybody in the orange. The 5-inch amounts, which would be the higher end of the range, will be in our Oak Slope regions along the Blue Ridge Escarpment. So 2 to 5 inches in that area. But I think what's going to happen with the storm track, somewhere say between 321 and maybe toward the I-77 corridor around Charlotte, you may start to see a pretty quick cutoff in the precip. So what I've done is I've taken eastern Alexander, the eastern 2/3 of Catawba, most of Lincoln, most of Cleveland, and I put them in the 1 to 3 inch range. And that is for rainfall amounts through Thursday p.m. Some areas can always get higher amounts, some areas don't get as much. But this is what we feel like right now, a pretty good call on the rainfall amounts. Now, maximum wind gust potential, and this is maybe the lowest confidence of anything that we have in our forecast. So things could change. They could trend higher. They could trend lower as we head into Thursday. But I think the potential for folks in yellow, which is basically anybody in the lower elevations in our coverage area, could see wind gusts 30, maybe 40 mile per hour at times on Thursday afternoon as our surface low, the remnant of Zeta, moves to the west of our area. The areas that probably would get the highest impact of wind may be, again, on our southern facing slopes. The Hickory Nut Gorge area there in Rutherford County over toward the the Crooked Creek, the Old Fort Graphite area in McDowell County, then up along the Blue Ridge Parkway. And then as you head back down into the South Mountain chain, with that southern orientation and the wind coming very hard out of the south and southwest, I would not be surprised at all to see wind gusts approach 50 miles per hour at some point on Thursday afternoon. So that is something we'll keep an eye on, and I don't think that would produce any kind of widespread damage, but it can definitely bring down trees and power lines, especially considering how wet the soil may be. Now, the overall weather impacts for our region from Zeta on Thursday, tornadoes, while we don't think tornadoes is going to be a big issue, we do have it in the low range. Anytime you have a tropical system that moves overhead or to your west, can't rule out a tornado. So we've got it on the low range. The flooding we have on the low range, but we kind of see it on the higher end of the low range. I think small stream flooding could happen in some areas. I don't expect main stem rivers to flood real bad. So we kind of have it on the higher end of the low rating. And then the wind damage is really the same. I think scattered power outages, scattered trees down. So we kind of have it on the upper part of the low range as well. So it's just something that you need to keep an eye on wherever you may be across the region as we head into Thursday and Thursday afternoon. As always, be weather aware. Check in with us at Foothills Action Network as we will update this forecast over the next 24 or so hours. And just be aware Thursday is going to be an active day. It could get very active around here, especially in the, I'd say, late morning to about early afternoon. So that is an update on what's going on. Again, this is in regards to Zeta, that is now in the southern Gulf of Mexico, and will begin to impact our region over the next 24 hours.